you guys, thank you so much for joining Conversations with Kiera, and today I'm so pleased to have you a part. Today, if you haven't already read the topic, I'm going to be talking about COVID-19 and how I was able to beat COVID-19, you guys. But before I get into this video, I want you to go ahead and press that subscribe button so that we can continue to grow our family. But now it's time to continue on to the video. The first thing that I want to shed light on is how I found out that I had COVID-19, you guys. So for me, I found out that I had COVID. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember this particular day I felt sick, kind of. I only had I was experiencing sinus-like symptoms, so I decided to go to the hospital to get it treated so that way my kidneys wouldn't get thrown out of whack. For those of you that don't know, I do have a kidney disease called nephrotic syndrome, and anything will flare it up. A common cold or the weather changing, anything, any simple thing can trigger it and it can throw my kidneys off. So I'm very careful about what I do and the people that I'm around. I'm very careful. So I decided to go ahead and go to the hospital so that way they can go ahead and get the sinuses under control. And I went and they were like, okay, well, we're going to have to COVID test you just to make sure and to rule that out. And I was like, okay, fine. I know I don't have it, whatever. So they gave me the COVID test, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It did hurt, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So the test came back and the doctor came into the room and he told me, he said, well, Kiera, everything is fine with your kidneys. Your kidneys are not thrown off or anything. You're not spilling any protein. So I was getting excited, and I was like, okay, yes, I'm excited. And I, in my mind, I kept saying, I knew I didn't have it. And then he went on to tell me, but you have COVID-19. As soon as he said those words, it seems like my entire life just flashed before my eyes, and I instantly went into a depressed mode. I wasn't even trying to. It was like I was happy at first. I was okay. I wasn't feeling that bad. And then when he told me that, it seems like my chest started hurting. Everything just started, all of the COVID symptoms that we had known of just started to kick in. So I was like, okay, that's okay. I'm going to beat this thing. I got it. So I remember I called my dad and I couldn't even get my words out. And he was like, what's wrong? And I said, I have COVID. And he was like, oh. So I immediately called my kidney doctor. And my kidney doctor, he told me, he said, Kiera, I'm scared for you. This could be very bad for you. And I began to get scared myself because it's like, we don't really know what this is. I don't know. It's nothing that we can do to treat it. All we can do is, drink hot teas and try to, continue to take our vitamins. And so I went home and I couldn't sleep that night. I was very, very emotional. And that's something that I want to shed light on. That's something that a lot of people aren't talking about. People aren't talking about the emotional effect that COVID has on people. I'm telling you, it's worse than having COVID itself. Just that whole emotional toll. And then you have to worry about what it's doing to your body, how it's affecting your body, which brings me to a third thing that I want to talk about, and how it affected my body. So as the days began to go by the time I got to about my 6th day with COVID, that's when the symptoms really began to kick in. I started to have the chest pains and my back was hurting really bad. My whole body was hurting. It felt like I had the flu. I just felt horrible. So my mom, she told me, she said, okay, let's just wait it out before we go to the hospital. We don't want to expose you even more. So I said, okay, let me wait just a little while longer. I'll see how I feel. So I ended up going to the hospital the next day because I woke up and I could not breathe. So I ended up calling my mom, she ended up calling the ambulance for me. And the ambulance came and got me and transported me to the hospital. I stayed there for a few days. Then I got out of the hospital. I stayed there for about a week because my kidney disease, they wanted to monitor everything and make sure that that was getting back to a stable place before they let me go home. So I went back home and I thought I was getting better, but I started to notice these sores on me. And I asked the hospital about it before I left, and they told me, they were like, oh, they're fine. Just put, bandages over and make sure that they're clean. So I was like, okay, I'm about to go home. So I was excited. So I went home, and then a few days passed by. Well, maybe about a week or two passed by. And one morning I woke up and it was blood everywhere. I'm talking about, my room looked like a crime scene. And I sent the picture to some of my friends. My mom was with me the entire time that everything was going on. She was by my side. But long story short, I don't want to be too long, but what happened was I had the wounds on my breast area, and they began to open up. And what happened was one of the veins was open and I was bleeding out. I lost 4 pints of blood, you guys. 4 pints. So once I got to the hospital, mind you, before I got to the hospital, I had passed completely out. I was unconscious. My mom said that I began to foam at the mouth. So I was really on my way out of here. But God, y'all, I'm telling you, I was on my way out of here, and I had to have 3 blood transfusions. I had to stay in the hospital for weeks. And then things began to get better. I started to get wound care, and I got better. So I was able to go back home, and they sent me home on medications, and they sent me home with wound care and everything. So I was starting to be okay, but emotionally and mentally, I was still battling. And that's what I wanted to shed light on. And I just wanted to encourage somebody today. If you are battling with COVID-19, I know it's not easy. I've dealt with it firsthand, and I'm still dealing with the aftermath. And that's something else that I'm going to touch on as well. Just the aftermath of COVID-19 and what it does to people as well. So I'm fine. I don't have COVID-19 anymore. My kidneys are healthy. I'm healthy. Everything is looking fine. But some days I still wake up and my chest hurts. I still wake up and, I still have the wounds. They haven't fully healed all the way yet. So I'm still going through a lot of the side effects of COVID. And if you hear the side effects of COVID, it's different for everybody. So right now, everybody's still trying to find out what's going on, So, it's still new for everybody, but I wanted to just encourage you today that if you're going through COVID, or if you know somebody that's battling with COVID, my best advice is to try to keep your mind occupied. Keep your mind occupied, keep praying, do whatever it is that keeps you comfortable in that time. Because I'm telling you, just like I told you in the beginning, when that doctor told me that I had COVID-19 and my mind instantly went to a depressed state, the mind is so powerful, you guys. And I want you guys to know right now, you will beat this. If you have a family member or a friend or somebody that you're close to, they will beat this. We're believing and we're decreeing right now that they are going to beat COVID-19. It is not going to take over their lives. It's not going to take over your life, because your life has purpose. I'm not here to preach, but I do want to shed light, and I want you all to know that you are loved, that I love you, that God loves you, And I just wanted to share a little bit of my story with COVID-19 and how it affected me. I hope that this video was helpful for you all. And I'm thinking about doing a part 2 to this as well, just to go in a little bit more detail about some things. But guys, for now, this is all. I just want you all to know, once again, that you will beat this thing. Your family member or your friend, whoever has COVID-19, if it's you, you will beat this. So I just want you to stay encouraged. You got this. Buckle up. You got it. Okay? Until next time, I will see you guys in 2 weeks with another video. So stay tuned. Guys, I love you. I will see you guys later. Bye.